While you may be wondering what the colors on your screen mean in relation to Old MacDonald Had a Farm, these colors are actually what this classic nursery rhyme looks like to a 26-year-old woman referred to as LHM in a 2006 study by Ward et al. She has a rare condition known as synesthesia, more specifically auditory visual synesthesia, in which stimuli like music involuntarily evoke perceptual experiences, most commonly color. Some studies support the theory that synesthesia may result from disinhibited feedback from the temporal-parietal occipital junction, or a multisensory nexus like the parietal cortex, while others propose the theory of direct cross-activation. For example, grapheme color synesthesia has been linked to connections between the visual word form area and the color processing region HV4, although there is no current evidence that this neural mechanism applies to auditory visual synesthesia as well. For those without synesthesia, however, Old MacDonald Had a Farm may instead elicit a sense of nostalgia or feelings of warmth and joy. In fact, autobiographical memory processing involves the hippocampus, medial prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, and precuneus, while emotion regulation is associated with the anterior cingulate cortex and medial prefrontal cortex. How does music make you feel?
Music makes me feel connected.
Energetic.
Oh my god, yeah.
It makes me feel good.
Cold.
Happy.
It helps me relay my emotions a little bit better.
Good. Makes me feel like connected.
Happy.
While you're watching this video, the neurons in your auditory cortex are actually hard at work, rapidly firing without you having to break a sweat. Let's take a closer look. Through brain lesion studies and the introduction of imaging techniques, such as functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, and positron emission tomography, PET, neuropsychologists have gained insight into how music affects the brain. Musical processing in the human auditory system is hierarchical in nature. This means that lower-level regions process basic features, while higher-order regions handle more complex processing. First, music is processed along the ascending auditory pathway, from the cochlea to the primary auditory cortex, where simple elemental sounds and their components are encoded, including pitch, the physical frequency of sound waves. Next, pitch perception occurs in the lateral portion of Heschel's gyrus, located in the temporal lobe. The planum temporale, posterior to Heschel's gyrus, analyzes spatial location, acoustic patterns such as timbre, and pitch patterns. Another key brain region is the superior temporal gyrus, which is responsible for analyzing spoken sentences, musical melodies, and other streams of auditory information. Familiar music and other nonverbal sound identification involve the anterior temporal lobe and insula. Integrating auditory information with sensory and visual inputs is carried out by the lateral temporal and parietal lobes. Finally, the parietal and frontal lobes mediate working memory related to music and guide behavioral responses to sound. When it comes to emotion, music engages the amygdala and hippocampus through emotionally driven memory processes, as well as the broader limbic system, which regulates motivation, reward, and pleasure. Motor structures and sensory motor integration areas are also activated by music, highlighting auditory motor synchronization and the relationship between rhythm perception and movement, such as finger tapping, foot tapping, and head nodding. Music is inescapable, especially where you are here in Los Angeles, a musical metropolis where musical development mirrored economic prosperity and population growth that fueled cultural expansion in the 1940s. With a population of over 2 million at the time, theater music became a prominent form of entertainment for Angelenos, alongside the rise of film, broadcasting, and recording industries. So next time you step into the streets of Los Angeles, Pause, take a deep breath, and look around. You may be surprised by what you discover about yourself and the world, both musically and neurologically.